Hello and welcome to Dishin It, the food podcast for nosy Parkers. Thank you for joining me for my first episode. To get you up to speed, I'm Colin, 28, a food blogger known as the Food Hoover. I live in Aberdeen, one girlfriend, one dog, and one hell of an appetite. At school, I was always getting told off for talking. You can never get me to shut up. One time, in a very old school turn of events, a teacher once sent me to the back of the class to face a wall. Dr. Yanda, if you're listening, your theory did not work. As this podcast shows, I'll happily talk to a wall. Well, in this case, a mic and an empty Zoom screen. But the podcast isn't just to give me more reason to talk. It's also a reason to talk up the amazing food brands and experiences here in Aberdeen, Aberdeenshire and wider Scotland. I love a backstory, and it's probably why I've really gotten into podcasts over the past year. Give me insight into someone's life, and I'm anybody's. With so many food podcasts out there, very few actually focus on Scotland. So Dishin It is going to beam that big, glitzy spotlight down onto Scotland with a little help of the food brands, food writers and content creators that I've met along the way. Today I'm joined by Victoria, the face behind the Scottish travel blog The iLife. Sharing her love for Scotland, Victoria has been documenting her travels since 2017, sharing the very best places to eat, stay and explore. So a very fitting debut guest to have on the podcast today. I've worked with Victoria a few times over the years on a few brand campaigns, but we've only ever spoken over email, so a face-to-face catch-up, thanks to the power of Zoom, was long overdue. And if her hilarious tone in emails was anything to go by, I knew there'd be a lot of laughs recording this one. So I'll stop rambling and let you get onto the podcast. Hope you enjoy. Victoria, welcome to Dishin It. You're officially...
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining. You're officially my first guest. So thanks for joining me on this venture. Let's hope you don't regret it.
I won't. I'm so excited, honestly, Colin. Like, me and you should have caught up like years ago. Like, I've been saying to everybody, why does it take a pandemic for us to do these things?
I know.
Like, for real?
I know. It's so true.
I'll tell you a funny story.
Oh, please do.
I'm going to sound like a total crazy person. And you're like, second person I've told this to, so I'm gonna sound nuts, right? So basically, right, first of all, I'm gonna sound mad. I'm just warning you in advance, right? But basically, I've got a little friend who I found on Instagram. She's a small business owner, and she does like rituals, like
rituals,
sort of ritual. Like, just hear me out, okay? So she does like soothing teas, like green teas, things like that, and like bath potions and stuff like that. And it's all about self-care and looking after yourself, right? But she's into like magic-y kind of herbal stuff, right? No, she's absolutely fabulous, Colin. I will send you a link. Like,
I'm a sucker for all this sort of stuff, like all this like witchcraft, ghosts, name it. I believe in it.
Yeah. I'm down. I didn't realize, like, I thought I was quite cynical, but right, wait for it. So I had a bit of an interesting experience. I'm going to sound nuts. I can't believe I'm even saying this. I didn't know I was going to say this, Colin. I didn't know it was going to come out. Saturday morning was the spring equinox. It was the start of spring. I didn't know this, right? I've just been going about in a bubble, like, please, will this house just sell? Please, will it just sell? Let's just please survive, okay? That's all I've been thinking. But anyway, I ordered one of her rituals. And because I've been so busy on Saturday morning, I was like, I'm going to do one of these rituals. So Scott stayed in bed. He had the dogs through with him. And I was like, right, beautiful sunrise on the northeast coast over the sea. It was just one of these vibes. I was like, I'm going to do this ritual. So I don't have a bath in my house, right? So I was like, I'll have a foot bath. I'll use one of these like foot bath basin things. And I'll put some, don't even, honestly, Colin, you're just going to die when you see here. I'm going to sound mental, but basically I put some of this like potion stuff in the foot bath and I poured the tea and I put some incense on. It was all very zen. Yeah. And I had like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually saying this. Anyway, I had like, I wouldn't say a hallucination, but I had like a thing. I knew you were just going to laugh at me.
Did you have like an outer body experience?
Oh, right, I swear to God, I knew I'd regret saying this. No, I seen, oh, you're just gonna howl. I was looking out the window at we've got an amazing view over the golf course and over the sea. On the horizon, on the tide line, I saw an island. Now, we're on the northeast coast, Colin. You know there's no islands. There's no islands here.
There's no.
No, it wasn't Northlink ferries. I know when they cross, it wasn't them. Just for about 2 seconds, I seen like the perfect shape of a West Coast island for about 2 seconds, and it was gone.
Well, that is, we are 5 minutes 40 into the podcast. And I said, I hope that you don't regret coming on.
No, I'm not.
I believe you. I mean, I believe in all this stuff, but I think those bath salts and stuff had a lot of something in it.
It's apparently, I asked the girl about this. I was like, look, do you have any other crazy people like me that like just have crazy moments? Because like I'm cynical about this stuff. Like, come on. And she said, no, but because you're taking a moment to step back and kind of look after yourself and you're stepping out of your like rat race, moving about so fast and trying to get so much stuff done. She says, sometimes your mind will kind of try and settle you down a little bit and try to tell you like, you're doing the right thing, you're on the right path. And maybe that's just a path that you're going on.
Maybe you were seeing your happy place.
Maybe I was.
Hey, that could have
been
my
good place. Yeah,
my good place, my island,
my island in the sun. I did tell Scott, and he was just like, mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, I know. It's the first time anything like that's ever happened, and I was just like, whatever. So whatever, Colin, whatever. You never know.
Okay. Well, saying that, I think you're sat next to a window just now. But what's your view looking onto just now? Is it the golf course?
I'm going to swing the laptop round, so as you can see,
Victoria's showing me out her window, and there is a lovely Cruden Bay golf course, which is a great golf course up here in the northeast, usually ranked top 100 in the UK. Normally, and you're quite close to Slains Castle.
You won't be able to see from here, but behind me, basically, just like up behind me on the hill is the castle. That's what it is. I'm spending too much time near that damn castle, and I've just flipped.
Let's kick off. So, I love a good origin story. Marvel, Disney villains, you name it, I'm all over it. Let's add the iLife to that playbook. Where did it all start for you guys?
Right, so the iLife, right, okay, well, this is kind of mad. So initially, I'm from Inverness. I moved through to Aberdeen about 7-8 years ago now. I moved through with my job at the time. I was working for Global Energy Group. I moved from working in construction and commercial recruitment into oil and gas in the drilling sector. Super fun. Left that job after I moved to Aberdeen and basically worked in oil and gas logistics, purchasing, stuff like that. And then I moved in with Scott after meeting him through a mutual friend. And then basically, not long after I moved in with Scott, I felt like really bad with depression. I hadn't had any experiences with depression or mental health or anything before, like nothing like that. So I basically didn't have a clue what was happening to me. I just felt like it was alien, completely alien. And I had to leave my job, and for about 2 years, I didn't work. Just kind of wouldn't leave the house. Just was in a really bad way. And during that time, Scott had quite a bad injury in the back of a helicopter. He was working for one of the helicopter companies at Aberdeen Airport. And he injured his back, and he was told basically he couldn't do manual labor again, which is all he'd ever done. So for basically a year, we basically sat in the house, not being very useful and just fighting and arguing and just not having a good time together. But it was during that time, Scott's always been like an entrepreneurial type. He's like a Dell boy. He has like a million ideas, and like some of them are absolutely wacky and just like never going to happen maybe in like another universe. But he said he was going to start a website. He was like, hey, I've heard websites make money, so I'm going to make a website. And I was like, whatever, Scott. Like, I was just sitting depressed, just like, this guy, who is this guy? And he went and he made a website called, and I always laugh when I tell people about it, because his website was called Money Efficiency, because he thought he was going to be like the next Martin Lewis and he was going to do like money comparisons and stuff. I know, and I was just sitting judging every moment, like, who even is he? What is this money efficiency? And the amazing thing about it is, like, he could never spell money efficiency, and he'd always be like, "How do I spell my domain?" And I was just like, "Oh man, this is going to be a long ride." But yeah, so he made his money efficiency website somewhat successfully, like 5-6 years ago. This doesn't exist anymore, by the way. Like, thank God.
Okay. I was just going to Google
like,
it. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, no, it's not a vibe. But he basically, during his building his website thing, he was like, I'm not very good with words or content, so like I've decided that you will write. And I was just like, okay, so at the moment I don't get changed out of my pajamas. I make this, but like it was actually quite a tough time. But like I didn't get out of my pajamas. I was barely doing anything for myself, and this guy was like, "Hey, do you want to like write about money comparisons?" I was like, "Are you for real? Like, is this a real thing?" And then he was like, "Oh, just give it a go. You never know." And I always joke because, like, in every podcast, every interview, I even did a piece for Dundee and Angus College where they wanted to know about how I ended up working in marketing. And I told a story. And I think the guy just didn't really know where to look. I mean, he was really good at crack, thankfully, but he kind of looked at me like, what the hell? I'm part of their long-term coursework now. I'm going to be like, I just don't believe it when I tell these stories.
You're gonna be in the like the PR course books, you know, like
I know.
you're gonna be the person like Victoria,
I know.
Queen of Marketing.
It just makes me cringe to death. I'm like, what? But anyway, the first article I ever wrote was a money comparison article on fruit and bananas.
Oh, nice.
I wrote about how to save money on fresh fruit, which is amazing. But Scott, when I wrote the article, Scott was like, "Hey, I'm not going to lie, this reads really well, but it's hilarious." And I was like, "And this is a bad thing, why?" And then he was like, "Well, it's money comparisons, and like they're not typically funny." And I was like, "Well, we could be a niche market, you know, like that could be our thing. We could be funny money. See,
funnymoney.co.uk.
Exactly. Go and buy it, Colin. Just reserve it now." Yeah.
Done.
But yeah, he was like, maybe we should try something different. Like, why don't we have a blog? And I was like, I have no idea what that means. Like, I didn't know what a blog was either. Like, I didn't know, was that a swear word? Is it like offensive? Like, what is a blog? So he was like, so a blog is basically a thing where people just like write online. We were clueless, totally clueless, Colin, like 5-6 years ago. And it's actually amazing to think that we've now designed well over 200 small business websites and medium businesses and government business websites. Oh my God, look at me. Honestly, at one point I was managing something like 52 social media accounts, and this is the girl who wrote about bananas. So like, don't say you can't follow your dreams.
Exactly. It started with bananas.
It started with bananas and it's still bananas. But yeah, so we started this blog and he was like, people just kind of write stuff. And so I did. I didn't know about SEO at this point. I just wrote about like stuff that I had in the house. Like I was like, oh, let's just review this moisturizer. That'd be fun. And like, why don't we just review this and review that? And then I did that for like a couple of weeks, basically, after starting the blog. And then I wrote an article about Inverness, and it was a things to do in Inverness article. And again, it was quite irreverent, quite funny. Yeah, tongue in cheek, but like fun.
It's the thing. So to give everyone a background, me and Victoria have worked on a few collaborations from a previous role of mine. And that is the thing I love working with you guys on, because your blogs just always made me bloody laugh. I think it was the one you did for Mackie's. The winter trip, I think it was, or the royal trip. Yeah. I can't remember, but I remember the picture at Dunnottar Castle, and you were stood with your leg posed out, and then I can't even remember what the caption was. It's something like "Made
in the rain" one, yeah.
So, yeah, something. But yeah, no, your blogs always make me howl. They're hilarious.
Oh, thank you. Well,
always good.
It's fun. It's fun to be fun. It's fun to have fun. But yeah, I wrote this article about Inverness, and then things kind of just went a bit mad from there. Like I started like building our Twitter account. At this point, I had no social media channels. I came off social media for about 3-4 years when I had depression. So I just didn't want anything to do with it. No Facebook, no nothing. So my first experience, I would say, in marketing, or really proper experience in social media, was when I started Twitter for the iLife, which was previously called Great Her Day. may I add, it was never always the eye life. It was
Great her day.
Greater day, because I was depressed, and that made perfect sense. Let's call it greater day. So yeah, I would say after the Inverness article, basically we were invited down to Edinburgh with some tour company. We did some blog stuff and some social promos, just Twitter. We had no other social media channels. And then I love telling this because it was exactly 6 months after starting our blog. So I would say at the start of that 6 months, I was suffering with depression. We just started this blog thing. I was just kind of writing about soap and stuff. And then 6 months exactly from that point, we were sitting in the Ritz in New Orleans on a cocktail media press trip in a completely gold suite, all off the back of the blog. So literally within 6 months, I went from depression to sitting in the Ritz, blog compensated, like all from the blog. It was crazy. And it totally nuts, honestly, Colin. Like, we went to a party with Diageo, like, because we were on the media list.
Oh yeah, the whiskey people.
Yeah, the whiskey guys. But we were there for a week with doing media for this festival, and we were basically interviewing brands like Bombay Sapphire, Sailor Jerry. Hence why I have a Sailor Jerry tattoo. I actually have 2 Sailor Jerry tattoos now. Long story. Parties in New Orleans are crazy. But yeah, we did interviews with brand ambassadors. We went for dinners with brand ambassadors, stuff like that. Just did some media stuff on our Twitter and that. It was quite cool. And then there was one night that we went to a Diageo party, and we were standing in the audience with our amazing cocktails in amazing company. And then Snoop Dogg walked out on stage. The actual Snoop Dogg. Like, just their Snoop Dogg. Like, me and Scott were like, is that Snoop Dogg?
Oh my God, Snoop Dogg.
Oh my God, Snoop Dogg. I didn't realize how much of a fangirl I was for Snoop Dogg until that moment. I was like, la da 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 da, Snoop Dogg, oh my God. But yeah, it was crazy. And honestly, Colin, see, after that trip, we were like, hell yeah, this is way fun. Yeah. Let's do this more. So we did. And whilst we were on our travels with the blog, we realized how much of a call there was for help with marketing and web design and stuff from small businesses. And Scott was like, I'm going to retrain in web design because these guys need help. I know what I'm doing here. I've had to do it. I've had to learn how to do it, basically. And then I said, well, I'll do the same with SEO and digital marketing. And then I'd say for about 3 years, we just taught ourselves everything we could about web design, search engine optimization, digital marketing, content, the whole shebang. And then we opened the iAgency 2.5 years ago. And basically we go on these iLife trips more often than not. We meet with small businesses that have asked us theirs to iLife, and we 9 out of 10 times leave with a contract with the agency.
See, that's good. So that's really good.
It's cool. It works out pretty cool. So yeah, and now we've just sold our house and we're away to do something even crazier. But I will talk to you about that later on.
Yeah. Oh, ace. Well, I mean, I knew it was going to be a mad journey to where you are now, so I'm not even surprised at that whistle stop tour. Your following now is a really strong following, and you're reaching about 1 million people a month. 1 million people. Yes, I just said that. 1 million people. How does that feel, people joining your journey online?
So far, we've been really lucky, I'd say. We've attracted this. There's this sort of cringy phase that folks say your vibe attracts your tribe, and it makes me cringe to death when I hear it. But at the same, I know you go, girl. But
get that tattooed right on my butt.
Yeah, exactly. I need one of those tramp stamps. Your vibe attracts your tribe. But I'm not gonna lie, Colin. It really does. Like,
yeah, it's annoying that it's such a tragic statement, but it's actually very true.
Yeah,
very
it
true.
is very true.
Apologies to any listeners who do have that tattoo or that print on their wall, but
yeah, I'm not judging. Like, I have worse tattoos. I'm so not judging. But at the same time, yeah, we've got an amazing following, Colin, like all over the world. They're just so good. Awesome. It's so cool. And we've never been trolled.
Wow.
So I'm opening it up now.
But this is the thing. I think, like, the whole trolling thing, like, I've always said, because I've had people asking, and I've not got a massive following, and I've had people asking me, like, oh, like, do you ever get people just putting hate on your posts? I'm like, well, not really, because I think if you put out positive, like, the stuff you guys put out isn't like, oh, we got to go here, ha 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 ha, my life is amazing up in my golden
Still
house.
posting that now.
But it's like I think the difference is with the celebrity world, like trolling is not okay, like full stop. But I think it's a lot of it comes from, obviously the celebrity life is something people want, but then the blogging world is something a bit different. It's more, I don't know, I think it's more positive. The food industry anyway, food and travel seems to be more positive than lifestyle. I think maybe the lifestyle fashion bloggers maybe might get a bit of hate, but you're keeping it real. And I think with you guys, you probably don't get much hate because like it's so obvious just looking at your social platforms that you just love doing what you do. Like it's not forced. It's not like, yes, you get your ad campaigns and you get your collaborations, but you're also out doing your own thing anyway. Like you're always out touring about, taking pictures of the dogs and like out swimming and all this stuff, and actually actively promoting people without having to get a brand collaboration. So I think people just buy into that, and I think it's really great what you guys have built up. I love it.
Oh,
not
thank you.
Blowing smoke up your arse or anything, but yeah.
Blow the smoke, Colin. Blow the smoke. No, I that's very true, and I think that you're right. Trolling's a bad thing. It's a really bad thing, but it will always, unfortunately, exist unless it's tightened up on. But even then, I really don't think it's
don't know where it's going to go.
No, not at all. No. But at the same time, I think it does help to be real on social media, and to be like
100%. Keep it real.
Yeah, keep it real.
Do it because you love it. Do it because you love it. So yeah, you touched on that you're moving house. So Victoria's just sold her really bonny house in Cruden Bay, and it looks absolutely stunning inside. You're moving up to the Highlands again, if I've done my research right. Oh crap! Where are you going again?
No, you have. You have done your research. You've done.
Oh, I have done my research.
But we have
changed location.
Plot twist. Well,
there's a plot twist in the plot.
There's a plot twist in the plot. Basically, we're not picking one location.
Oh my God! Please say you're doing like a van restoration.
Maybe we will have announced it by the time this goes live. So
fantastic.
I suppose I can't say.
Well, everyone listening, the date is the 26th of March. It's 7 minutes past 7, and I'm getting an exclusive from the iLife. So I heard it first before everyone else.
You actually did, yeah. So basically, we decided that there's no rush. There's no rush at all.
There's no rush.
So
no rush.
We are putting some of our stuff in storage with family, and we're buying a Mercedes Sprinter long wheelbase van. We are converting it into a tiny house, solar, like shower inside. It's going to have its own bedroom, its own bathroom. It's crazy. Oh my God,
it's going to be amazing.
Projector, cinema screen. It's so cool. And we're building in ventilated bunk beds for our dogs. And we're going to live
Oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, we're going full-time van life. And what we're going to do is...
love it.
We're going to travel across Scotland. We're also going to try and set an example on encouraging folk not to rush everywhere, because there's no need to rush in a country like this.
Take it slow.
And we are going to, basically, we're going to start a directory on the iLife of all things Scottish. We're going to tour about the country, interviewing small businesses, filming it all on YouTube and on our socials, obviously. We're going to be creating a directory for all things Scottish, so basically hotels, restaurants, shops, loads of things, locations, basically anything you can think of when you're visiting Scotland. And we're launching an online shop featuring hundreds of small Scottish businesses. We've already started doing some legwork on that.
Fantastic.
So we're going to
visit Scotland, watch your back. That's all I can say. I can't actually I can't process that, but that is going to be really ace. That's fantastic.
We're going to be announcing it on Instagram with our private iLife number plate for our van. And our van is named after one of Scott's favourite bands, 80s bands, but with a Highland touch. So it's going to be called Van Halen instead of Van Halen.
I love it.
So we're going to have a little Highland cow and a big zebra print guitar decal on the side of our van.
I absolutely bloody love it. You guys, this has absolutely made my day. I absolutely love
Did you
it.
see that one coming, Colin?
I did not see that one coming. I really didn't, because my question was, I mean, it still ties in the question I had. But basically, obviously, the inside of your house is so you guys to a T. It's like what you love, and it's a very nice interior. What would be I'm just trying to look at my question and what I had written. I'm trying to rewrite it in my head.
I've thrown you big time.
You have thrown me. But we're professional. We get back onto the horse.
Yes,
so you've made yourself feel very at home in your house where you are now. What's an essential item you're going to be having with you always in your new venture to make you feel at home?
Okay, so one thing that I'm like big on is a weighted blanket. I started using a weighted blanket.
I've heard about these. Oh
my days. It's amazing.
My friend's got one, and they say it does stop them tossing and turning.
Yeah, it's a thing. Like, it actually is. A weighted blanket. Also, we have a set of antlers above our fireplace, and because our house is very Scottish. Now, our current antlers are much too big to take to our little Van Halen. So we have a lady who lives in Murray who is making us a set of decoupaged blue and teal mini roebuck antlers for our van. So we're going to have our antlers. And we've got another lady she's a client of ours through our agency, and she is going to be making us personalised Harris tweed decor interiors throughout the van. So even though we're giving up the big house, we're still taking a hell of a lot of the Scottish.
You're still taking it with you. What eatery will you miss most from the Northeast? You'll obviously come back. I know you'll come back, but let's hear it.
We'll be back. So basically, it's not a typical restaurant. It's actually a takeaway. I had to say it.
Great. It's all relevant.
Actually, it's the bee's knees. Zonrays. You heard of Zonrays?
Zonrays? No. Where's this?
Yeah. So basically, these guys do longestine tail scampi, and it is the absolute
in Aberdeenshire. Where?
Yeah, Aberdeenshire. So they used to. So there was it's like a chippy. So there was one in Ellen, and they recently bought it over. We go to the one in Peterhead because it's nearby. Sometimes we pop into Ellen. I'm pretty sure they've got one in Mintlaw as well, but they've got quite a few of them. But just their scampi is out of this world, Colin. It's like big, fat, longestine scampi, and it's just so nice. So. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do without my Zonray.
Well, I think you'll find a good fit somewhere else, I'm sure.
Yeah.
100%. You're from Inverness. I recognise the Invernessian tones very well. So my family most of my family's from up Inverness direction.
Okay.
So my granny lives in Tomatin. I don't know if that rings a bell. Just outside Inverness.
Yes, Tomatin's the distilleries that we did a tour at Tomatin Distillery 2 years ago. It was awesome. I love Tomatin. I love that whole area. It's stunning. Really nice.
Oh, Tomatin's amazing. So so it makes me feel at home speaking to you just now. Okay, right. So on the note of food, let's go straight into it. So you've eaten a lot of places and you've stayed in a lot of places. You've got a special power for one night, and you can time travel anywhere in Scotland for a special dinner safari. Where are you going for your starter, main, dessert, and after dinner nightcap? And what are you having?
Okay, right. So I wish I had that power sometimes. I really do. You know, when you're just
imagine
for something.
You can just save it. Like sometimes when you go somewhere and you have a really bad starter and you're like, oh, I should have went to bloody Zonrays.
Yes.
Should have went to Zonrays. And then you're like, oh, but I'll come back for my main because there's a banging steak that I want to have.
When lockdown lifted last year, we went to the West Coast because we were working with a couple of folk who aren't actually in the West Coast. Lagan near Aviemore. We went swimming in Loch Lagan.
Oh, yeah.
We stayed at Lagan Glamping. Oh, that whole area is
great
stunning.
Place.
Anyway, oh, so nice. But whilst we were there, we went over to the West Coast just for the day. We went swimming at the Silver Sands with water, which was just beautiful. I went to Glenfinnan, but we went to Malay. And whilst we were there, we went to the fish market and we had like hand-dyed longestines in garlic butter. And oh my days, like it was stunning. But at the same time, longestines, you don't get an awful lot of like meat from them. Like you've kind of just got to like treasure what little there is on a longestine, but they're still so fine. So a bit of a random one, but for a starter, I would go there. And I don't know whether I would eat it. I'd probably sit and eat it at the harbour and just look over the water because it's just, it's stunning in the lake. So yeah, I'd say they're for starter. main. Okay, so a few years ago, we went to a lovely lodge in Royal Deeside called Mill of Death Lodge. Yeah, and you know, it's not typically a restaurant, but when you stay there, one of the owners, she will make your dinner basically, and it's the only time I've ever eaten this, and I almost don't want to eat it again because I just don't think it'll live up to how she did it. But it was venison in a blueberry sauce.
I knew you were going to say venison, but I
Did
didn't
you?
think you were going to say blueberry sauce. But I was like, I bet she's going to say venison. You can't beat venison.
Really?
Venison is top of the shelf.
Well, do you know, I've only ever had it that one time, and I don't want. I feel like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not going to live
I
up
mean,
to it. It was heaven.
blueberry sauce. That's like I like that
It was
combo.
insane. It was really nice. Yeah, it was venison blueberry sauce with like celeriac. It was just absolutely gorgeous.
Great.
And yeah, that in a heartbeat. Dessert. So we did 2 years ago at a restaurant in Edinburgh. We did a chef's table, and basically it was like to show off the new menu that they had at the time. And it was like they just invited like a bunch of random media to do a chef's table. And they had this dessert, and it was insane. It was a passion fruit passe with, I don't like licorice, I hate licorice, but it was licorice infused pineapple and coconut macaroons. And it wasn't a dessert, it was heaven. It was like, nah, nothing will ever live up to this ever. It was the best dessert ever. And again, I don't like licorice. You couldn't taste it. It was just perfect. It was perfect dessert. So I would say the printing press in Edinburgh. Yeah, Printing Press in general is a fantastic restaurant. Like, you're never going to get a bad meal there. Cocktails are amazing, food's awesome. But yeah, that was just like, Scott and I both just looked over each other at the table and we were like, wow. And as for, so nightcap, it totally depends what kind of nightcap we're talking. But if we're talking a nice chill, kind of trendy vibe after a big meal, I would say the Spiritualist in Glasgow. They do the most amazing cocktails. They do an apple cocktail. I think it's gin, apple juice, like fizzy. What are they called? Like that crackly stuff that like it crackles on your tongue.
Oh, like popping candy.
Popping candy, yeah, like popping candy. Gin,
nice.
and it's got like, it's just stunning. It's called like Snapple Pop or something. It's so nice. So there, or if you're going the other end of the scale and you're going out after dinner, then the Gellans in Inverness, just because it's the best Scottish pub ever. We had to take you guys to the Gellans. Like, it's just your right as a human to have gone to the Gellans at some point. It's just the best.
It's the only thing to do. Oh my god, really ace. Yeah. Okay. Oh, those are great. Oh my god, like honestly, venison and blueberry. Like I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight thinking about that. That is beautiful.
I don't blame you. It's actually awesome. It's so fine. So, yeah.
Well, those are great choices. Now on to places you've stayed. So you're a lover of the Coorie life. And for anyone who doesn't know Scottish terms, the Coorie life is something I'm going to let Victoria cover because I'm probably going to say the wrong definition.
Okay, so the Coorie life is basically, I describe it as Scottish cozy. But then it's funny because Coorie doesn't always mean cozy in the warming sense. Like, it can mean, it's difficult to explain. Basically, Scottish cozy doesn't always need to be warm. Scottish cozy could be things that make your heart warm as opposed to making you cozy warm.
Temperature.
So yeah, totally. Like, but even like going for a wild swim, going swimming in a loch and then coming out of a loch and like sitting by a fire, like that's Coorie. You're not necessarily warm with it. You're certainly not warm in the water, but it's heartwarming, and I think that's Coorie. But at the same time, Coorie can be tartan, it can be tweed, it can be inherently classically Scottish.
Yeah.
And it's just the perfect way to describe what Scotland I do.
On that note of that, where in Scotland, like which hotel or accommodation would get your Coorie stamp of approval?
So I can't pick one. I'm just going to rattle off a few, Colin, because there's no way
go
I
for
can
it.
pick one here. Recent one that was just like an absolute moment for me was the Balmoral in Edinburgh. Because first time we went to Edinburgh, like I told you like earlier on in the podcast, like when we went to Edinburgh through the blog at the start, I remember walking past the Balmoral and being like, I'd love to stay here with what this thing is, because I didn't really understand blogs at the time. I was like, whatever this thing is that we're doing, I want to be in there with this thing at some point. And then last year, when lockdown lifted, we stayed in the Balmoral, and I walked straight into the suite and cried. I felt like a princess. It was amazing. So the Balmoral Hotel, just because it holds such a place in my heart, like it was just, they couldn't have made it more perfect for me, Colin. They just couldn't have. Another one I would say would be Sweet Dawnside, because that girl is my jam. She's amazing, Colin. I love her. I love her. I love Sweet Dawnside. I just love it. They do everything right.
Such a great product they've got there, and the little, like, almost like a Hagrid hut. You have to go have a look at it, because it is just one of those places that you just feel warm inside looking at it. It's really nice.
Just amazing. We stayed in the wee beehive at Sweet Dawnside, and the attention to detail in that place, Colin, is I've never stayed anywhere in Scotland that's got attention to detail like that place. I mean, every corner, everywhere you look, there's something. She's just absolutely brilliant. So yeah, Sweet Dawnside, fab. And the last place I'll say is Foyers Lodge in Loch Ness, because it's just, Foyers Lodge holds a very special place in my heart. I love Anna and Phil who run it, and it's just beautiful. It's stunning. It's just inherently beautiful. So that's cutting it down to 3, but I could go on forever.
That's a great 3. I mean, I'd heard of the Balmoral and obviously Sweet Dawnside, but I've not heard of Foyers Lodge. I'm going to be giving that one a look. Maybe that'll be my first lockdown trip.
Stunning. So nice.
Oh, good choices. Okay, so if you could bring back any food brand, eatery, or drink that's no longer with us back from the dead, I like to call it back from the Fed, what would you bring back?
Do you know, me and Scott were talking about this earlier, and like, it was quite funny because he said that when he went to college in Aberdeen, there used to be a sandwich shop beside the college, and he used to go in there and he used to order anything you want in a sandwich, and his friends used to laugh at him because he used to order beef and prawns in the same sandwich, and I was just like, that's just so wrong, and that just says so much about you as a person.
Prawns?
Beef and prawns sandwich, that's just wrong. In terms of what I would bring back, this isn't necessarily something I would bring back as such, but at the same time, it's in lockdown right now, so it's not actually open. So in a way, I would bring it back. Like, hurry up!
Tenuous link. I like it.
Yeah, and also because it's in Inverness, and like when I was little, my nana used to take me here for half a cheese sandwich, a carton of apple juice, and a bag of Golden Wonder, and the memories are just amazing. Is a little sandwich shop called Let Us Eat in Inverness.
Oh yes.
She used to take me there when I was little, and it's just a fun place. And I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be spending a month in the Highlands on a little croft whilst we do our conversion. And during that time, I'm basically just going to be Let Us Eat's best customer, because like they're just another level.
What would be your recommendations for maybe 2 places in Inverness that you would have to go for food and a bev?
Okay, so it's on the road out in Inverness, the Loch Ness Hotel. It's so fine. We had lobster there towards the end of last year, and it was actually just, oh my gosh, it was insane. It was so fine.
Amazing. I love all these food recommendations because I actually just can't wait to explore. Because one thing I've realised from lockdown is that like I've been around Scotland, but I've actually not been around Scotland. Like I feel like I've been a really rubbish Scottish person. So I need to up my game. I'm very good in Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire. Very good on that. And places to go. But yeah, out with, I haven't got a Scooby. So thank you for all those recommendations.
The world is your playground. The world is your playground, Colin. You've got so many places to go to.
You'll definitely get one visitor to your new directory, and it'll be I. Okay, so you touched at the start on your kind of battle with depression. Just in the kind of beginnings of the iLife. It's one thing I really wanted to focus on, because I think you are an amazing advocate for mental health on social media, and I think you should be commended for that, because honestly I think anyone seeing your post, because you're so bubbly and happy all the time, obviously people would maybe assume, oh well, she can't be depressed, like that can't be a thing. And I think that's a stigma that people need to get over, that it's anyone can have depression, anyone can be unhappy, and everyone has struggles. And I think it's just great that you've used your platform to promote travel and food, but you also use it to put a spotlight on mental health as well. And I think it's really great. And I remember reading a post of yours that you said that there was like a time when you couldn't smile and you didn't like smiling and whatever, you just didn't feel very happy. What was like the turning point in your mindset that kind of got you to a better place?
So I read this quote once where it says something like the people that have been through the darkest things tend to laugh and be the funniest people. Now, statistically, apparently this is true. And that makes perfect sense to me because I've been through some pretty bad stuff. Like I've been at one point when I was young, I was homeless. When I was like really young, I lived with my granny like from the age of like 5. But I don't speak to my parents. I have no relationship with my parents. I don't know where they live. Like I don't know. Well, they're not going to know where I live soon because I'm going to be living in a van. But no,
I'm going off the grid.
I'm going off the grid. Come find me. Come find me. But yeah, no, I've been through some pretty dark stuff, and I don't know why, but like it's translated into one hell of a sense of humor. I find things funny that I shouldn't be funny. The first thing when you asked me that question, the first thing I did was laugh. Like I laughed a lot.
Like you want to know?
I
know? I'll tell you.
You got no idea, Colin, what it's been like. No, no. I think that regardless of all the bubbly and funny posts and stuff, like I still have hard times. Like the last time I posted on social was about 4 days ago. I haven't posted since, because this last week, as I said, I moved this podcast recording later. Yes, it's been hard. I've been in tears a lot this week. I've been so stressed and so worried about what's going to happen. Thankfully, it's worked out, but it doesn't always work out, and you need to pick yourself back up. In terms of a turning point, me and Scott have said for the last so many years that it's a constant pivot. There's no one turning point. Like you're going to have ups and downs in life, and I think you just need to not. Sometimes with the ups, don't get too high, and with the downs, then you don't go too low. Just take it at your own pace. You know, it's there's no turning point. It's just a pivot.
Take it as it comes.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Well, I think it's great things that you do anyway, and I think you make a lot of people smile around the world. It's great, and obviously you're an advocate for wild swimming. If there was like a wild swimming charity, you'd be at the front of it. Do you think that has helped, kind of, with just like your daily wellness? Helps a lot.
Yeah, I absolutely love it underwater. I prefer it underwater to on land. Like I prefer things.
Aberdeenshire's Little Mermaid.
I'm not even joking. Colin, I absolutely love it. I'm actually going to be in a book soon.
Ace.
By folk who are wanting to, basically I'm going to be in a book about it. So yeah, watch this space. But wild swimming is absolutely fantastic because you see Scotland in a whole other light. Like folk think like, oh my gosh, why do you want to like swim in Scots freezing? And for the first few minutes it's blood freezing, but then you acclimatise, and then it doesn't matter how cold the water is, you acclimatise to it. But I see underwater, I see colours, I see things that you wouldn't believe are there. Like for example, in Cromarty, the Black Isle, in Inverness, at Rosemarkie Beach, and everybody's been like Rosemarkie Beach, and like this is such a lovely beach, and like there's the dolphins at January Point and all this. But see, when you go underwater and swim there, there's underwater caves, there's bright oranges, bright blues, bright green corals. You are surrounded in like silver, like tiny little fish. It's like glitter. I'm not joking, Colin. It's another world, and it's one that so many folk just don't see. I just love it. I'm addicted. I absolutely
honestly,
love it.
I literally, just as you're saying that, like being surrounded by silver and caves, I literally just imagine you singing like part of your world from Disney.
I actually do.
From Little Mermaid. I've been
I do.
Where they'll walk, up where they run. You can see it, like look at the the bit which looks through the cave at the end, and she's like, the hand going up. That's you.
Wild swimming's amazing. It's been absolutely amazing for me. But the main thing about it is just the colours. Oh my gosh, you would not believe what's underneath there. Even the North Sea, you think, oh.
So would that be your main reason to get people into it, just to take in a different perspective, or what are the other? Why, if someone was like, oh, I can't be bothered with wild swimming, like why should I do it? What would be your thing to say? Bloody do it because of X.
It's free drugs, Colin. Don't turn down free drugs. It's a drug. It is a drug. It is an adrenaline. It is. You come out of that water, and your whole body feels grounded. Like you feel. Well, they say it's like a forced meditation, don't they? They say when you go out in that water, because it's so cold, you are forced to focus on nothing but acclimatizing your body to the cold. You forget about things that annoyed you before you got in the water. You forget about work. You forget about all those stressors. You're forced to breathe. It's forced meditation. And once you're in, it's just fun. It's just fun. It's fun
Just
and it
fun.
grounds you. Yeah, I couldn't advocate for it more. It's one of the best things to do, especially if you suffer from mental health, anxiety or
Oh
depression or
yeah,
whatever. It's like,
it's
yeah,
a good escape.
it is.
I know
It
because
really
there's
is.
people when I walk my dog Ramsey down Aberdeen Beach in the mornings, like I see people like up at crack of dawn,
Yeah,
like going straight into the water, and I'm like, good on yous. The one
yeah.
thing I don't like is when I see them like going straight into clothes, like soaking wet, and they go straight to clothes. I'm like, oh no. But then you have to, like, you can't dry yourself on the beach, like if it's like blowing a hoolie.
Yeah, I know. A lot of them put these dry robe things on, these big like bag robe things on, and they
Oh
look
yeah,
like a
yeah.
big jacket, but you can get changed underneath them. But to be honest with you, whenever me and Scott go swimming, we just find a quiet place and we just strip off. Like we're not worried if there's nobody around. Whenever we go, we just make sure we do a good 5 mile radius check first. And we're like,
just make your own nudist beach sign and just like shove it in, and then be like, it's a
exactly.
nudist beach.
What an idea! What a good
Yeah,
idea.
there you go. It's a
But
nudist
yeah.
beach. We're allowed to do it here. I can
But
imagine it.
yeah.
Oh, great. I know it is something that I really want to try, and I will do it at some point, but I can't. I don't know. I need to do it because I do hear like so much benefits from it. I think I
You
associate
need to
it from
pick a
when I did.
place.
Yeah, I think I need to get a good place. I did actually
Yeah.
want to do it at Glendy Cabins
Yeah.
because they've got their little kind of stream that kind of goes through, and
Yeah,
you
it's
can do well swimming
lovely.
in there. So I thought like that would be a good spot to do because then at least I've got like a good accommodation to go back to after, and it's like right,
Yes.
best of both worlds.
Nice fire.
So
Yeah.
we'll give it a try one day. We'll give it a try. So back to social media. I know on my social media that I like to try and keep it positive. So all the accounts I follow are people I like, food, and a cast of friends is pretty much it. I don't follow much celebrities or anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Me neither.
and yours is obviously one of those accounts that I follow. And I don't think there's ever a day that I don't look at your account and belly laugh just by the way you write things. And I just like read it. I'm like, oh god, that's what I would say as well. Like it's like I read it. Like it was one. I think it was when you did a post for. You did a post for Mackey's and you were holding the 2 ice creams and you're like, you want fries with it?
It's got to be done.
And it's like just stuff like that, and it's like laughing with you, obviously not laughing at you, and it's just like I just love it. It just makes me feel so happy looking at your stuff. Do you ever find a pressure on always delivering the laughs and being positive in your posts? Does that ever come into your mind?
Nah, because I'm so sarky as a person.
Yeah,
like I'm
just
so sarcastic and like I just go for it. And do you know what's so funny? I used to say at the start of when I started doing all these posts and I started doing the blog and everything, I used to say to folk when they asked me, "Oh, you come across so funny and so relatable, blah blah blah." I used to say, "Oh, it's just my fingers. My fingers are hilarious. I never know what they're going to say." And then when they just type away, I end up pissing myself laughing.
You are funny.
I can be.
You're very witty.
It's sarky. Yeah, I am witty,
yeah.
And I'm really good at puns. And I'm dark. I've got dark humor. Honestly, what you say on Instagram is just me toning it back. Like sometimes I have to tone it down. But I'll show Scott, or like I'll read something that I've wrote, like an upcoming post to Scott, and I'll be like, "This is amazing. You're gonna die." And then I'll read it.
Sit down. Sit down. Yeah, you're gonna fall over.
I'm like, this is my best one, yeah, Scott. This is my best work. And I just look at him, and he just like barely cracks a smile, and I'm like, that's because you're used to my humor. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Like
you're like Instagram's gonna roll for this.
Yeah, I'm like, you've got no idea. Just prepare yourself. Like,
hold on to your butts. Hold on.
Exactly.
And like with social media, like I think we touched on it before we started recording, but I've had my kind of struggles recently with comparison and self-doubt to other people on social media. Yeah. What's your biggest in your head bug that you get from time to time? If you do get one, maybe you don't.
I think the biggest thing that annoys me is the pressure to have to engage when you really can't be asked and you don't feel like you do. And Instagram in particular, but no, not even just Instagram, Twitter, TikTok's not so bad. Instagram and Twitter, I would say, are the two ones that they give you back what you put in, and it really annoys me.
With TikTok, like I actually think the way TikTok's done it is really positive because you don't really have to like stuff on TikTok. You just swipe through. Gives you stuff like, I mean, my TikTok is a riot. My TikTok is all reality TV, like fights, arguments, Big Brother mishaps, like is David dead? Like all that stuff. Like, It's absolutely, it's on fire. And I love that. I just go on for a positive, just
Me
go,
too.
end of the day, just go flick, 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 flick. And then
Me
it
too.
just shows you stuff you want to see. And I think it's a much more
It's
positive
so
user
positive.
experience.
I'm so happy.
Really nice.
It actually is. I just go on for a giggle. You're so right.
I remember seeing a post of yours that you were speaking about the woes of lockdown, and you put a phrase in that sticks in my mind, and it's like, I think it was, never mind the standards right now, just survive. And I think that's like really true. People, I think through lockdown, we've realized we do not have to put so much pressure on ourselves. Take it slow, take it as it comes, just love life. And to quote back Daniel Bedingfield, you gotta get through this. You gotta get through this. Oh yeah, so my question, sorry, I digress.
I was always thinking about it.
You're like, wait, what was the question? So yeah, so that's a roundabout way of getting me to my question. So what's your recipe to happiness?
Don't take yourself too seriously, for God's sake.
Oh,
and do you know what?
Quote of the day.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised I haven't sweared yet. So yeah, swear away. I'll bleep it out if I think it's not gonna.
Okay,
I love a swear word, but just go for it. Just fuckity fuck. Just say it.
Yeah, fuckity fuck. That's me done.
Fuckity fuck with sugar on top.
Do you know what it is? It's just a case of fuck standards and what everyone else has to say. Who cares? Who gives a crap's ass? Like, who actually cares? Like, what anyone else, like, people are going to have opinions. People are going to think what you're doing is crazy, or aren't going to like what you're doing, but you're in it for yourself. Who cares? The sooner we stop caring about what everyone else thinks, the better things are going to be. Like, we're all so pressurized to, like, I know this is going to sound totally hippie of me, but I'm about to move into a van, so I've totally claimed the hippie life, so I can say what I want now. But basically, we're also pressurized into working, like getting up in the morning, rushing to work, working all day for someone else, finishing work, rushing home, having dinner, sleeping, doing the same again, over and over and over and over and over. Total rat race. Pandemic has made that, has slowed things down for a lot of people. And I read the other day that 59,000 new businesses have started up in the UK over the last year. Yeah, that's because we weren't forced to rat race. That's people going,
yes,
I like being at home. Wonder if I could do that more often.
Exactly.
So yeah, I would say go your own way. Who cares what anyone else has to say?
Just like Fleetwood Mac.
Exactly.
Like Fleetwood Mac. It's been so good speaking to you tonight. And I mean, I had my questions and you've just given me so much more. I knew you were going to give me a lot, but you've given me so much more than I thought I was going to get. And I'm so glad I'm not interviewing you for a blog, because I'd be writing for bloody decades. Like,
is this
so much to cover. This is a great thing. This is an absolutely fantastic thing. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And the next time you're traveling back to Aberdeen in your movable home, park up in my garden and I'll lend you some milk and some flour.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, that sounds amazing. Like, yes,
I'll get a bottle of wine and cork.
Absolutely. I'd be disappointed if it was any other way. But yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for chatting with me, especially after the week I've had. As I said, Colin, it's so nice to chat. So nice to chat tonight. So thank you.
This is great. Well, we'll catch up soon. Thanks so much, Victoria. What a hoot. I really could have spoke to Victoria all night, an absolute riot, and so open and honest and full of food recommendations. She really didn't disappoint. Details of all the places mentioned in the podcast are in the description below for you, so you can go check them out and explore further. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And if the podcast wasn't for you, goodbye. Thanks for joining. Maybe we'll see you soon, maybe we won't. If you did love it, however, please let me know how you found it and if there's any future guests that you'd love to hear from. Just drop me a message on Instagram at The Food Hoover UK or on Facebook at The Food Hoover, where you'll also keep up to date with plenty of my food escapades from the days gone by. And if your podcast listening service has the option, leave me a wee review too if you fancy. Next week, it's all things baking, as I'm joined by Graham, the avid baker behind the Fat Sparrow Bakery, who has literally just quit the day job to bake his dreams a reality. Like what I did there? So join me next Tuesday for baking tips, what's next for his Aberdeen-based baking business, and a whole lot of laughs. Until then, stay safe, eat well, and speak soon. Now time to find me some of those bath salts.